Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you are listening to and watching a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And joining me on today's episode, as always, is my co-host, Trav. How you doing, Trav?
Feeling lonely.
Hey, I'm feeling lonely, too, because he's not here with us.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up dying. And,
why you got to say it like that?
I wanted to say that
you say like D has passed on.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to say how he
like died. T ended up dying. Like,
well, I didn't want to say how he died, but I mean, I might as well let everybody know. But before we let everybody know how D died, today's guest on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks is voice actress Kdin Jenzen. How are you doing today, Kaden?
Doing very well. I'm happy to be here. Well, I was happy, and then I learned about this unfortunate turn of events.
Soured the mood.
Well, I'm gonna let you guys know like what happened, because unfortunately, Trav, he was still on Earth while all of this happened.
Still on Earth. I'm still here.
So what happened was we had voice actress Linda Young up here, and Linda, who, if you don't know, she voices Frieza on Dragon Ball Z. And what she did was she picked D up just like how she picked up Krillin in Dragon Ball Z, pressed her hands together,
she did,
and then he exploded,
and we got it on video.
And because of this, I turned into a Super Saiyan and I defeated her. But we have to get the Dragon Ball so that way that we can bring D back to life. So Kaden, I'm sorry that you're joining us and you're hearing about how D passed, but at least I avenged him. At least,
I mean, I'm here for if you need help finding the Dragon Balls. I'm all about it. Like,
that's right.
I can track them down. I have a Dragon Radar somewhere in my house. Don't worry about it.
That's exactly what we need.
We need the Dragon Radar because we have to bring D back. D, he has a wife, he has kids, and somebody has to take care of him. You know what I'm saying? And we can't just let them be alone without having D. So rebellious D, we're going to search for those Dragon Balls. And by the next time we have an episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, you will be here with us. And
oh, hell yeah.
Let's go.
Hey, remember the State Farm commercial? Can I get a hot tub? But no,
those commercials were great. I don't know what it is with State Farm commercials, but they're just, I could probably listen to them and watch them nonstop and be totally okay. There's usually like a plot or a through line with them, and there's characters that are returning. It's like its own mini series.
Yes.
And I'd say that we should do something like that, but we did do something like that with the Geico cavemen. The early 2000s.
Yep.
Which was
also,
I hope you're going where I think you're going.
Probably not, because I like to swerve the other way.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, Justin Long and the dude, you're getting Adele.
Oh yeah.
Those carried on from commercial to the next commercial, and that's a throwback.
So it was PC or what was Apple?
Well, they didn't call him Max in the commercial. I don't remember what they said.
I don't remember.
They might have said Macintosh, because that's when they were still called Macintosh.
Yeah.
Probably. I can't remember, but I do remember the free creditreport.com.
Yes, the songs.
That jingle.
That jingle is fire.
It's a bop for sure. I love that.
Here's the bet. That and Career Connection.
That's I was about to bring up Career Connection.
Career Connection was heat.
We going back on Leveling Up with Benjamin.
They don't know about those late nights.
And remember, I believe it was the ECPI guy where he used to make you feel bad.
You're over there sitting on your couch. Why don't you get up and do something you like?
Like they would show the commercials when Jerry Springer would be on. It's just like, get up off the couch, get your education, and you're gonna thank me later. Like he would make you feel so bad.
Hey,
it's just like, I'm off of work today.
The best part is that ECPI got sued for fraud.
Oh Jesus Christ!
for college loans. So
Jesus Christ. And then
comes full circle.
Full circle, baby. That's how it works.
What was the one where it was like the chick, she was singing and like she worked in a diner? It was Get Connected.
Yeah. I thought that was
Education Connection.
Get connected
for free. Education
Connection. Hey,
absolutely.
Hey,
that was another bop.
Everybody, thank you for listening to today's episode, and this is it. Like, it's just commercials.
That's all we're gonna talk about.
I gotta say this now. So Kaden probably doesn't know, but I got two little girls, a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. And, we do a lot of YouTube surfing. Well, I played a compilation of 90s commercials. Bro, they had the hostess when the big chick was on the tube.
Oh,
And it looked like a hostess, and the shark came up, and he was like, where's the cream filling?
I remember that.
I remember that.
Or remember when the Capri Sun commercials?
I was about to say, and then the Capri Sun looking like Alex Mack.
Alex Mack.
I was about to say Alex Mack.
Mack.
That show is so good.
So good.
So good. So good.
And she was in 10 Things I Hate About You.
What?
Yeah, the sister. And 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah, hey, it was cool growing up in the 90s, but
Cheers to the
90s.
90s.
Hey, let's go ahead and get this thing started. This was a good intro because we took it old school. And before we get into today's interview, everybody that's watching this at home or if you're in your car, please don't be driving and watching this, but make sure you like the video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. That being said, let's go ahead and roll into today's interview. So, Kaden, something that we love to do here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks is we love to ask our guests, what is their origin story? So, to everybody that is listening and watching right now, let everybody know, who is Kdin Jenzen?
Oh, origin stories. I mean, all right. So, I was a theater kid for most of my youth. I did a lot of stage acting. I did a lot of plays. I played Pinocchio, which was really fun. I was about 8 or 9 at the time. There is the hilarious twist of irony with young me going, I'm a real boy, and then like later on in life it's just like, well, maybe not so much. But it was I did a lot of that as a kid, and it was really fun. But I think that like where I really figured out where I wanted to go was watching Scooby-Doo and Pokemon as a kid and hearing like Casey Kasem and so many Maddie Blaustein was just such a huge influence. And hearing these people be able to do a million voices for all these different cartoon shows that I really loved, I'm just like, this is something I want to do. I want to do this. And it's like, I kind of not necessarily fell out of love with stage acting, but I fell more in love with the vocal performance more than anything else. And I was in college at the time. I was about 13, 14. I was doing college courses and working at a library at the same time. And there was a little pin board that said, hey, we're doing classes for voiceover hosted by Laura Bailey and Christopher Sabat.
Wow. That's awesome.
And I'm like, I need to do this.
Is this in Texas?
It was in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, wow.
So this was your Charlie and the Chocolate Factory moment.
It really
it was the golden ticket.
Yeah, the golden ticket.
It really was. It was such a weird moment because it was like a 2-day course, and they would bring people in, and the first part of it was just like teaching, like, here's how you do these things, here's how you breathe, here's how you like, we'll show you how it works. And then on the end of the first day, they brought people up to like give it a shot. Some people were too shy, and they're just like, well, I'm just here to kind of like meet Laura Bailey and meet Christopher Sabat because like, yeah, I mean, they're amazing.
Yeah,
they're the best. Like, they're so cool. But a bunch of people, myself included, raised our hands. It's like, well, we want to get up there. Like, we want to try this. So we got to do it. So it was kind of like, we didn't know at the time, but a loose audition. The next day, they brought 15 out of the 30 people who were up the first day to come back to on stage while everybody else was there. It's like, so everybody was in the audience. It was about 100 people, and there were 15 people on stage, and they're like, okay, it's going to be trial by fire today. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff, but we want to do auditions first, because the only way you're going to actually get in the booth is if you do an audition. So every one of us went up and we got a script, and they're just like, okay, you're going to read for one character. You're going to read for one character because that's the one that we think that you should be doing. But then the audience is going to cast you. If they liked you, then they're going to cast you for this. I went up and took a look at the script. we were reading Dragon Ball Z.
Of course. I was going to ask, was it Dragon Ball Z? Of course it was.
What else would it be?
They gave me the script and they're just like, well, we want you to read for Krillin. And
and
I'm just like, full circle here. It's just like,
yeah.
Yeah, no, I really loved Krillin. So it's like, yeah, no, of course, Goku, let's go. Let's really make this happen. And it's like, it was fun doing that. And after I did that whole spiel, they lined everybody up. Everybody did their auditions and they're just like, okay. And then Christopher Sabat came over and held his hand above everybody's head. And I was last. So they had gone through everyone and they had not cast a couple people. And I was the last one. And they're just like, okay, Goku? And then everybody screamed. And I'm just like, oh no. So they had me read and dub in Goku's voice. But this is where Chris threw a wrench in the works and he put his hand over his own head and he goes, Vegeta. And then he put a hand over Laura's head and it's like, Gohan. Right. So we had the entire cast there and I was playing Goku opposite Christopher Sabat's Vegeta for this little dub project. And I'm just like, I can't mess this up. I can't mess this up. And then afterwards, he pulled me aside and said, you have a really great natural voice. Keep doing this. It's like, keep pushing yourself. You're going to go someplace if you actually follow through, but you need to follow through.
Yeah.
And I tried for quite some time. I was 14 and in college, so I had no time for anything.
Yeah.
But by the time I got to be about 21, 22, I moved over to Texas to work with Rooster Teeth. And that's when I really hit the ground running. It's just like, I have more time now. I have a full-time job. I can actually start practicing more and more and more and investing my time into this. And within about a year of working at Rooster Teeth, I had 2 voiceover credits to my name through X-Ray and Vav and the Strangerhood season 2.
All right.
There was a hiccup along the way, which coming out as trans was not great for my career. It was definitely one of those things that it's still a lot of it's a hike for representation in voiceover, be it BIPOC, LGBTQIA+. It's always going to be a little bit more of a climb for anybody with actual representation behind the microphone. And in general, in animation, there's always that barrier of entry. Right. If you are othered by the industry, then it's harder.
Yeah.
But there was a change of speed in 2018, 2019, where certain studios were taking more chances and being more mindful. And that's when I got the opportunity to voice May Marigold in RWBY, which I assumed was just an interstitial. It's just a tertiary character background, this is for world flavor text and everything like that. Very fun. A couple weeks later, I found out that she was going to have a major role in the next volume. And that's when my career really kicked off. And
awesome.
Throughout 2020 and into 2021, and hopefully for the foreseeable future, roles keep coming in and opportunities keep popping up. And I'm pushing myself further and further and trying to bring as many people along with me, because again, that door only opens for so long for so many people. And I'm going to try and wedge my foot in there and just usher as many cool people in as I possibly can, give people opportunities, because, not having them for so long really just pushed me down and demoralized me. I almost didn't make it. I was almost just going to be giving up, but then, something slid across my door. It was something small. It was Hero.EXE, little game that is going to be launching its Kickstarter soon, actually. And I auditioned because a friend told me, hey, it's up there, give it a shot. You have a good generic, shonen protagonist, kind of voice. And there he is right there, the lad.
Now, just to let you know, I didn't, I'm not doing anything. My hands are on the table. I didn't just pull them up.
That's what he says.
It always, that's the reason why we have the slideshow, because it always brings up stories whenever our guests see a photo. Well, how did you do that? And the laptop is over here. I'm not touching it at all. My hands are on the table.
but I got that role, and everybody who was working on Hero.EXE is just some of the nicest people ever. And they were just like, you're amazing. You're really good. And there were people who were in the cast who I'm just like, I've loved your work for quite some time. And then they're just like, I've only been working for the last 3 years. It's like, I pay attention to like all the things that happen in like voiceover, be it games or animations. It's like when somebody new shows up, I want to know who they are, because, you know, that new person is probably going to be the next, you know, like Sean Schemmel or Colin Clickenbeard or, you know, it's like Laura Bailey. It's like, you never know who's going to be that next upper echelon like person. It's like, I want to know who they are because I like hearing people's performances. I like seeing people succeed.
I love it. Kaden,
yeah, absolutely.
I just want to say right now that it's just like, just hearing your origin story, it was, you know, very heartwarming and very positive. And I love the fact that you didn't give up, because I know that there are those times because, you know, I used to be a professional wrestler. And when I started my wrestling career, there were times where I wanted to give up, because it's like, I felt like, you know, I felt like I should be somewhere where it's like I could improve and I could grow. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you put in all of these hours and time and honing your craft, and then it's like, when you're not getting any results, it's just like, you know, your mind, it makes you think, well, it's like, am I not good enough? Or, you know, like, should I just throw in the towel? So I'm very thankful that you didn't give up. And I really appreciate you coming out as trans, and because like how you said, the representation, it really does matter. We had actor Mason Alexander Park up here, and I don't know if you know who they are, but they're a non-binary actor. And something that they told us when they came up here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks was how, you know, it can be hard for, you know, people, like how you were saying with voice acting. The same thing goes with acting as well, where it's like the roles are so small, or it's like what they do is instead of casting somebody that's gay or somebody that's queer, if they instead of casting somebody that's queer, they, you know, they'll go with the straight person and put them in the role as the queer person. And what Mason was pretty much telling us is that, you know, it is an uphill battle for queer people to get into these roles, but it's like the roles, they still are out there, and sometimes they do make it, but it is a hard battle. And Mason, they're gonna be playing Gren on the Netflix Cowboy Bebop show, the live action show.
Hell yeah, baby.
And hey, to everybody that's watching and listening, go check out the episode where we had Mason up here. Like, Mason, they were an incredible person and they were fun to have up here. So I just wanted to bring that up because, you know, we are talking about the topic of being trans, and it's like, I just feel like that there needs to be representation everywhere, you know, for, you know, queer people, you know, people of color, because it's like, you never know who is going to be watching this episode or listening, and they're going to be like, I'm trans too, and if Kaden could make it, then I can make it too. Like, maybe I could get into voice acting because Kaden was able to do it, you know? So, you know, thank you for not giving up.
It was, it's definitely a challenge, and it still continues to be. There's a lot of, like, you know, questions about like how things roll with like voice acting and so on and so forth. There's that like idea of like, well, you're trans, and it's like, I'm a trans woman, so it's like, do we send you the slides for male characters too, or just female characters? And the fact that so many people like hesitate to ask that question, you know, it's a very simple question. It's like, should we send you sides for both male and female, and, you know, it's like trans and non-binary, you know, it's like all of those, should we send you everything? It's like, yeah, if somebody can do the voice, if it's never mattered before. You know, there's plenty of male voice actors who do female roles, and vice versa, the females who do male roles. But, you know, the question comes in, it's like, well, if you're trans, then should we be able to? It's like, look, ask the talent. If they're comfortable with it, then go for it. If they say, no, just give me, you know, X roles to audition for, then that's great. But ask the question first and get that conversation started. I did a post a couple of weeks ago, might have been like a month and a half ago at this point, where I used the Twitter voice memo feature, where it's like, oh, you can actually talk and tweet. And I had 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Oh, that's a thing?
Yeah, you can use voice tweet, which is super cool.
Really?
I think I did hear something about it, but it's something that it's just like I'd rather just put the tweet out there and just keep it moving. But it is a feature.
Is it like voice to text, or is it's going to be your voice?
It's just your voice.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't even seen anybody tweet like this.
Exactly.
So this is new to me.
It's super cool. Probably like mid last year, I made a thing where it's just like, the only reason that Twitter hasn't given us voice tweets yet is because they know once voice actors get voice tweets, it's over.
Right.
Like, we're just gonna use this all the time. And then they gave us voice tweets, and the entire voice actor community was just like, but I did a voice tweet a couple weeks ago, and I'm just like, I'm breaking this thing wide open. Let's start the conversation, because people are afraid to start the conversation because, again, when you say something, people will look at you and you might get, othered, which, nobody likes that. Nobody likes the feeling of like eyes on you for negative reasons. But I went out and I'm just like, look, ask the question. Because if you can do the voice, we're all voice actors. If you've cast these people before, if you've cast male talent as female roles, and female talent as male roles, then what is the harm in asking trans and non-binary talent what they're comfortable with auditioning for? Because it's never stopped anybody before. And for trans women specifically, all of that, it's like the way my voice sounds now is not the way it sounded years ago. And it wasn't because of going through HRT or anything. It was all my own work. I put in so much vocal training work to be able to sound like I do now naturally. And it doesn't it's super easy to just sound like this. This is my normal resting voice after years and years and years of practice. But then I can just drop it down low and we can just keep going and just have this conversation, and it doesn't change anything.
Exactly.
The way you sound shouldn't necessarily dictate what you can do, unless, it's like you want it to. If you're a trans talent and you don't want to audition for, it's like male roles, then don't. It should be that simple.
I 100% agree with you on that. And I think it's interesting when you bring up how it's just like, well, it's like, do you want to do this role or do you not want to do this role? I feel like when you said all you have to do is just ask. And I feel like, for some people that's hard. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they might not want to offend you or they might not want to say the wrong thing, but it's just like when you tell them like, hey, it's fine. It's like, I know that you're a good person and you're not disrespectful or anything, then it's fine. But you do have those people out there who can be dicks. Have you come across anybody, and you don't have to name drop or anything like that, but it's like,
I feel like you asking a dumb question right now. But go on.
No, go ahead.
No, but I mean, like,
I feel like we know the answer.
No, I mean, but like, has there ever been a situation where it's just like, somebody did offend you? Because I mean, like what you just told the story now, it's like, it seemed like everything went over smooth, but like, has there ever been a situation or time where you did encounter somebody like that, and how did you handle that situation?
So I will say that I've been very adamant, especially within the last couple of years, of surrounding myself with people who are positive and willing to open up and ask questions, because that's where I'm at. And it's like, there are things I do not know, and that is life. And if you don't ask the right questions, then you don't get the right answers. If you want to be an ally in any single way, shape, or form for anyone, you have to ask the right questions. And you have to be mindful about them. Yes, that is it's a tightrope walk, but it's a tightrope walk worth walking, because we all need help in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter, who you are. But has there ever been a situation where I have been offended? Yeah, absolutely. There have been significant amount of, again, not so much recently. I feel like a lot of people have, opened their eyes a little bit towards being more mindful about casting, opening the doors for people who have been, doing stuff for a while, and have already like proven that they're really good at what they do, but like actually given opportunities to people who were usually not picked to be leads in things. There's been a huge boom of Black voice talent being lead characters in anime over the last 2 years, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it, and I love it. There was Kimono Jihen's cast was announced today, and boom, right there, 2 lead characters, Black voice talent. And I'm just like, yes, go, let's do it.
I'm happy. I'm always happy when like somebody Black gets put in a major role, because like we had we've had a lot of Black voice actors and actresses up here before, and it's always interesting when it's like they get put in major roles and like they're not just side characters and stuff like that. Because again, like when we have Bo Billingsley up here, like something that he talked about was, hey, and I saw that we're going to get to this because I saw that you're an Outlaw Star and a Cowboy Bebop fan.
Oh, I'm such a fan.
So we're going to get to that. But when we had him up here, and like he told us, like, he loves the fact that it's just like, Black voice actors can, get these roles compared to back in the day where it's just like, and two, like there really weren't any Black characters or people of color like in anime at all. But now you've got
like Jet, Barrett, and like those are the 2 that people would point at. And it's like, well, what about those 2? It's like, 2.
Yeah,
2?
That's it. It's like, remember, it's just like, because growing up Black, it's like, when we saw Piccolo, we was just like, Piccolo's Black. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, because like there really weren't any Black characters on Dragon Ball Z, so Black people was just like, Piccolo is our guy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how we just roll with it.
I feel like Sonic was the same way, especially because like Jaleel White was that first Sonic, and it's like since then we haven't had a Black voice actor for Sonic, and it's like I think it's high time that we kind of like revisit that original concept, because Sonic is just like, I think that's well deserved.
Yeah.
Right?
Like bring that all back. Bring that back, please.
Maybe that's why Sonic hasn't really been that good the last couple of years.
I mean, that could possibly be
We're
true.
onto something here.
And why didn't, like, when the Sonic the Hedgehog movie came out, like why didn't Jaleel White, like why wasn't he like a cameo or anything?
I was expecting something like that. Mm-hmm. There was actually something, and I know we've gotten off track, but I do want to say this.
We snowball up here. This is
all the time.
I'll bring it back. Don't worry. But there was a game that came out, Sonic Generations. It was a number of years ago. Roger Craig Smith was the voice of Sonic at the time. He's no longer Sonic. They're recasting. I have no idea who the cast of Sonic looks like now. I know Robotnik is still the same person.
Right.
But they're recasting all of that. But back when that game was coming out, they actually approached Jaleel White to voice the smaller Sonic, the classic Sonic. Yeah,
I remember that. I heard about that.
And apparently he was just busy and they couldn't get him. It's like, well, do we recast? And they just decided, nah, we're just gonna make classic Sonic not talk. It's like, okay, I mean, there you go. That's
yeah, and that was a good game too. Like, I want to say like all the Sonics before that, because you had Sonic Unleashed. I wasn't a fan of that.
No,
Sonic Heroes. Sonic 06.
Was Colors before Generation?
Colors was before Generation.
Okay, Colors is another one.
Yeah, but see, like that was a handheld. Yeah, you had Sonic and the Black Knight, Shadow the Hedgehog. You had all these Sonic games coming out, but it's like they were missing the whole emphasis on what made Sonic a cool character, which is his speed. And in my opinion, the last great Sonic game was Sonic Adventure, and then after that,
Sonic Adventure was fun.
It just went all downhill until Generations came out. But I want to say, then after Generations, was it Sonic Forces? And then I heard that
Sonic Forces and Mania.
You know what? Sonic Mania was good, but before Sonic Forces and before Sonic Mania, I believe Sonic. Not Sonic Forces. It was another Sonic game that had came out. Was it Sonic Forces?
I know they had Sonic 4.
Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom. There we go.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it was so bad I couldn't even remember it. I'm just like, I knew and that game was horrible.
Dude, the show was horrible.
I'm gonna say this, low key, 2 things. Sonic Boom's cartoon had some really cheeky writing, and you know they had some fun with it. They had some fun with it. They even brought in like Sonic fan fiction in one episode, and it was just like it was really funny. But I low-key love Shadow the Hedgehog, the game. I know it's not that great of a game, but I don't know what it is about it. I just love seeing Shadow just like take that lead character role and just completely steamroll over Sonic's like, I'm gonna be the hero and everything. Shadow's just like, nah, guns, motorcycle, let's go.
Being a bad Shadow. It's like they had to figure out a way to bring Vegeta into into the Sonic the Hedgehog world, because Knuckles was the Piccolo. Exactly. He was the villain, but then it's like, okay, now we're friends and all this stuff. All right, fine. And it's like, we need a Vegeta because so we already have a Piccolo, and then Krillin would be Tails, I suppose. Yeah, Krillin would be Tails. Amy would be Chi-Chi. I guess Big the cat would be Majin Buu. Gamma would be, I'm gonna go with Android 16. Probably. I'd agree with that one. I'm trying to think what other characters were in Sonic Adventure. I think that's all of them, right? I think that was all of them from Sonic Adventure. They added more. There was like Rouge the Bat, which was added later. Now. Yeah, there is a lot now. And they're trying to keep up with Mario, and it's just like
I mean, now they got the IDW comics too. That gangbusters. So
I love Sonic. I just love Sonic.
Hey,
so fun.
Something I always say, Sega does what Nintendo don't, and Sonic the Hedgehog. Like growing up, I love Sonic. It just it pissed me off when it's just like as the games kept coming out, it's just like they just kept getting worse compared to the Super Mario games. It's like it was hit after hit after hit. When Sonic 3D Blast came out, like I remember I was hyped for this game, but then after playing it, I was just like, what is this? What is this? Yeah. What is this game? Yeah, what is it? Then they came out Sonic R, like that was dumb.
Sonic Racing? Yeah. Sonic Racing was the stupidest thing.
Yeah, but that intro song. That intro song though, it was so good.
Then you had Sonic Fighters. I'm just like, we don't want this stuff. Like I just want to play also a Sonic game.
There's a tennis game that got Sonic in it too.
Yeah, Sonic and Sega All Stars tennis. And then there was Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing, which then turned into Sonic All Stars Racing and they got rid of everybody else.
And then you had a Sonic Shuffle. It's just like I just want to run. Like that's all I want to do. I just want to run.
Let me have fun.
Yeah, turn Supersonic. That's all I want to do. I don't want to do any of this other crazy stuff with Sonic. Like let Mario do all that stuff because it works for Mario. Like Mario has a good cast of friends and enemies that you can do the parties and the tennis and all that stuff with. But Sonic, like nobody wants to see Sonic and Shadow playing tennis with each other. Like I want to see them racing each other.
But in their defense, I think it's extremely hard to come up with a concept for Sonic in today's generation. Personally,
no,
I do. Man. Because look, Mario, when they put out, Mario 64, it's like they just follow that format. Like they completely switch formats. Sonic Adventures is so good, but is that how you want to play every single Sonic game? I don't think so. So remember they did that with Pac-Man. They went to the platformish kind of.
They did with Earthworm
it was
Jim
cool,
too.
But it didn't connect like the old school Pac-Man connect. But I don't know, man. I don't have any ideas for Sonic, so therefore I'm not going to harshly criticize too much because I got nothing to add to the conversation.
That's what I think that they did well with Generations, where they used the modern Sonic, and it's like when the level was 2D, you had the modern Sonic, but then when it was switched to 3D, like it was quick. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all you need to do in a Sonic game. Like it
bridged the gap too between those two concepts, where you'd have those classic stages and then you'd have these new modern stages. So if you like the OG stuff, then you have that there, but it introduces you to the new stuff. And if you're only familiar with the new stuff, then you get a little bit of that classic loveliness in there too.
And it was a huge love letter. Like I love that game, and it's sad that Sonic just can't come out with a good game. And I just want to say, it's just like everybody that's listening and watching right now, y'all know what we do here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. We done snowballed all the way down to the cabin. We at the bottom of the cabin. We at the cabin right
I'm in my sleeping bag.
Now,
so let me bring it all the way back.
A campfire, cook some s'mores. But let's rewind it back a bit, because I wanted to, kind of do a rewind piggyback to when you said that you were in Las Vegas. Now, did you grow up in Las Vegas?
Born in the city in sin and raised there, unfortunately.
Right, now, I went to Las Vegas for my 31st birthday, and it was an amazing trip. I met one of my good friends, Armando Diaz, there. It was also has
his own podcast.
He started his own podcast, and what was funny is I was staying at Caesar's Palace, and he worked at Caesar's Palace, so it was awesome that we were able to hang out there. But I want to say, like, Vegas is crazy, man.
Vegas is...
Like, we met the devil. It was just like he was following me and my brother, and then I was like, Tom, just keep on walking, don't say anything. And then like we saw like people like trying to start fights, and then you had the Vegas girls and all this stuff. Like, this is our first time here, so we thinking that the girls just want to take pictures with us, and they're just like, yeah, we would love to have a tip. And we just like, okay. And then I gave the girl $5. She was like, no, it's supposed to be more. I was just like, look, I only got a card. Here's $5. Have a nice day. Like, we didn't know. They don't people in them streets. They stay hustling.
Yeah, Vegas is such a. Growing up in Vegas was very weird, to say the least. Mm-hmm. But you'd be surprised that the nicest people are the people you actually would meet on the street. Like, those are the people who were actually like the kind folks.
Yeah.
Because everybody else likes people who are like, I don't know. It feels weird to say this, but like, once you get to middle class in Vegas, it's like, I don't trust anybody middle class in Vegas. It feels like a very different kind of place to live.
Like the Twilight Zone.
It really is. It's a different world almost.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a part of the United States, but it's both a really interesting melting pot of cultures, because there's so many people who want to be there, because similar to how like New York and LA are, it's just like there's so much culture jam-packed into what really should be only like 150,000 people. It's like, no, it's like 2.5 million people who live here. It's like, that's too many people for such a small little place. But I got to learn a lot about a lot of different like people, cultures and stuff like that, because of how integrated everything was in Vegas.
Yeah.
But then the polar opposite is also true, where Vegas is just like, we're going to monopolize on other people's culture and identity and not pay them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so, I don't know. It feels dirty in the weird way. Like, I know Vegas is dirty in a different way.
Right.
but look, I'm fine with that. That's fine. Like, though, don't get me wrong. Love that aspect of Vegas. It's the other part, the upper echelon parts, that like 1% part of things.
Yeah,
like, You're the dirty part. Everybody over here is great. You're nasty.
Absolutely.
I saw it all. I mean, it was fun. Like, it was definitely, fun to, say that, I went to Vegas and, gamble a little bit and have a good time. I would love to visit there again, but yeah, it was just crazy, but it was fun. It was fun, crazy, but
it's wild. They used to have a full-on theme park. I still think they do. It's
wild.
It was inside of a building. They had a theme park. Mm-hmm. They also had
I know there was like a giant roller coaster. At one of the casinos or something like that we had saw.
Right at the Stratosphere, and then New York has one. Mm-hmm. The Adventure Dome, I think it is for I don't even know if Circus exists anymore, but
these are some badass names too.
No, hey, Trav,
let me just say that.
Trav, if you can ever go to Vegas, man, go there. I mean, like, it
sounds like a One Piece episode, like a One Piece world.
I was going to compare it to that. Like, it's like when Kaden was talking about growing up there, it feels like it's an anime.
Mm-hmm. It really is. I actually found part of like what I truly love as far as like just like content to watch and absorb. There is a casino called the Excalibur.
Yep, I've heard of that.
Its theme is exactly what you think. It's a giant castle, and inside the castle, they have shows, and the shows are, of course, medieval themed. So they have jousting, and they have this whole thing called the Tournament of Kings. And I fell in love with that. And my family happened to know some of the people who worked there. So I'd just be able to go at like 8 or 9 years old, just go down to the strip in Vegas, go to the Excalibur, and just watch those shows. And I do that like probably like 2 or 3 times a month at least. Just go for free and do that.
Is it kind of like Medieval Times and Cable Guy?
Exactly. And after like spending so much time doing that, I fell in love with like the lore of like, you know, it's like medieval England and all that stuff. And I loved Robin Hood. Like Robin Hood was everything for me growing up. I worked at the library, like I said, and I would just pull books on Robin Hood and just read them. Like read the old stuff, read like, you know, documents on like what we've been able to save from the history of Robin Hood. There's like a whole debate of, is Robin Hood real? The answer is no, Robin Hood isn't real. It was just a term used for, you know, thieves back in the time who would do like relatively good deeds, were like well known for the community. And it just kind of like all kind of snowballed into this whole like mythos of Robin Hood, this character that, you know, robs from the rich and gives to the poor. And I fell in love with that so deeply that I have a blog on Tumblr, and I made a post, which was ill-advised, honestly, about Disney's Robin Hood. And just like, there's one thing about this movie that bothers me. One thing about it that bothers me. And it's not necessarily the fact that like, oh, hey, you know, the Maid Marian is just kind of a damsel in distress, which she isn't in the actual lore of the character, or that, you know, it's like they cut like 90% of the merry men from the entire movie, which again, that's pretty typical. But it's the fact that, and maybe you'll jump on board with me here, Maid Marian is related to, you know, Prince John and King Richard. But what animal is Maid Marian in that movie? She's a fox.
She's a fox.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're what, lions?
They're lions.
Okay, King George is a lion.
Yeah.
King Richard's a lion, and Prince John are they're both lions, and then Maid Marian is a fox. And so many people are just like, well, what if they adopted her? So it's like royalty in medieval England is just going to adopt. You really think that's going to happen? Maybe. Oh, well, maybe she's like, you know, this bastard child of us, like a bastard child holding a rank in medieval England. You realize how we're going down here. And it was just so infuriating to me as a kid, seeing that. It's just like, this doesn't make any sense. And as I've gotten older, it's like, how cool would it have been to have this really big, tall lion and this tiny little fox man like hook up and just rob the rich and then just get out and get married? It's like, I love that. Give me that movie. But I don't know. I think Disney's too afraid to give me that movie.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, I just didn't like Robin Hood. Like the Disney.
Fair.
I like the live
you're about to say.
Well, we know about Men in Tights. If that's where you're going.
Yes, sir. I love that movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Men in Tights is such a fun movie, and a lot of people ask me about it after that big post, which got like 100,000 like notes on Tumblr. It was just like, well, what do you think about Men in Tights? I was like, Men in Tights is a really fun movie that doesn't give a shit about Robin Hood lore at all.
It doesn't.
It just doesn't care, and that's fine. It owns it, and that's great. Though I do think Cary Elwes is probably one of the greatest Robin Hoods in history.
Absolutely.
Just because he's got the bravado, he's got that. There is a line that bothers me. He says, "Look, unlike some Robin Hoods, I have an English accent." Robin would have a French accent. like just so we're all clear, Robin Hood would have a French accent.
Got him.
Now, I don't know if the movie came out, but isn't there like a Robin Hood where it's set in the future and Jamie Foxx is teaching?
Okay, so Jamie Foxx played Little John in that movie, and they kind of like went all over the place. Not a great movie. I love Jamie Foxx, but that movie was not good. The writing
so it did come out.
It did come out. It was just kind of.
I don't even remember. I just remember seeing the trailers. I was like, oh, it looks interesting, but
Jamie Foxx movies are very hit or miss.
Yes.
So
yes,
like he's got some amazing performances, and then there's some big stinkers. So
I liked him as Electro. I know that's kind of like a hot take, but I actually dug him as Electro.
I don't know the lore behind Electro, so I can't say he played a bad Electro. I just thought Electro was bad. You know, not necessarily like
just in that
portrayal
movie
of Electro.
Yeah,
I don't really know.
Just in that,
but
compared to what we had seen him, compared to the Electros that we seen, and then seeing Jamie Foxx as Electro. Yeah. I just feel like
but the movie itself wasn't that good anyways.
Yeah, it was just all
considering how great the first Amazing Spider-Man was, in my opinion.
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh no, it was great. Hey, it's better than Spider-Man 3. It's better than Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, I agree. It's better than Spider-Man 3.
It's better than Tom Holland's Spider-Man's.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Look,
I feel like they're on the same level.
Look, Tom Holland's the greatest Spider-Man, but those movies are not that good. They're just meh.
Okay, let's flip it. Now I want to ask a question.
Okay, hey, go.
What's your favorite portrayal of Spider-Man then?
Now, are we talking about movies or animated series?
We'll go. We'll run the whole thing. What's the peak of performance for a Spider-Man in anything? What is the tippy top?
For me, it's going to be Spider-Man animated series. Like,
absolutely.
That's Spider-Man because it's in my top 3 when it comes to animated cartoons. The other 2 are Batman the animated series and X-Men the animated series. And it was just something about that Spider-Man where it's like, as a kid, I felt like I could relate to him. And I was a kid, with the stuff that he went through, with Mary Jane and Felicia Hardy and just always being the hero. The whole with great power comes great responsibility, and always, making the right choices, even though that it's just like you might not get what you want, even though you're making the right choice. So I love the portrayal of that Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and that's my favorite one. Trav?
Yeah, you're talking about Spider-Man like from the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were talking about the live action like from the 70s.
Or
if you were talking about
Spider-Man, I said Spider-Man the animated series.
Okay, you know what I heard? The Amazing Spider-Man. So excuse me. I'm just clearing the air so we're on the same page, brother.
I'm looking up real quick to see the voice. Yeah, Christopher Daniel Barnes. I just wanted to make sure that was his name. Yeah,
but I actually
amazing.
I really like Drake Bell's Spider-Man 2 on MTV.
Oh.
No, that wasn't Drake Bell. That was Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris was Spider-Man.
Which one did Drake Bell do?
He was Ultimate Spider-Man on
Ultimate
Disney XD.
I loved Ultimate Spider-Man.
He did a good job.
The fact that they were able to do Deadpool in a PG setting was phenomenal. And they did a great job with it, and very fun interpretation of Deadpool, even to the fact that like he knowingly looked at the audience and censored himself and just kind of like, it's just like, I love that. I love that. Well, I'm surprised neither of you said Into the Spider-Verse, which was just so everything. Being able to see, like, we got to see like good Peter Parker, where it's like the top of his game. We also got to see like bottom of the barrel Mary Jane left me Peter Parker. We got to see Miles Morales for like the first time, like, I think in a major series like that.
I think it's because I don't think of Peter Parker when we bring up Into the Spider-Verse, if I'm being honest. Like my brain just doesn't go to Peter Parker. It goes to
I think about Miles the whole time.
Just because he was the takeaway from it, because it was a Spider-Man of color, and that's kind of what sold the movie.
There was so much about that movie that like little things that happened.
Good. And the soundtrack is fire.
Absolutely.
Number bops.
There was so many like little moments in that movie. When Miles first meets OG Peter Parker, we'll call him that, not Peter B. Parker. He watches, Peter do this whole flip and, like zip on up to the button. And he's about to like press it.
Right.
And then all the way at the end of the movie, you see Miles, fully unlocked his Spider-Man abilities. And you see Gwen and Peter B. Parker, watching him, do some stuff. And he's like, Peter's like, did you teach him that? And he's like, well, I didn't teach him that. And I know you didn't teach him that. Miles had watched so perfectly what that original Peter Parker did.
I never even
that
thought
he
that.
mirrored that 1-to-1. And seeing like, there's so much like about that movie where like, when, it's like, when you see Miles, falling, it's like doing that drop down, that fall, and then the camera flips and you see him going up, and it's like, yeah, that's because he's not falling, he's rising, and it's just like, I love this. It's just, getting to see and like having Miles like teach Peter B. Parker how to be a better Spider-Man was awesome, because Miles was learning himself and came into his own in just one movie. And then at the end of that movie, everybody was just like, why haven't we had this for years? Why didn't Miles have a movie like a decade ago? This is exactly what we need more of. But that movie is so amazing.
I feel like when that movie came out, it was the right time for it.
I agree. I definitely do agree.
Because I feel like superhero movies, a decade ago, it's like they were still like, putting the rolls in the oven. You know what I'm saying? It's just like they're still baking.
Right.
And I mean, like, you had the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it was starting up and whatnot. You had Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, but we never knew back then like how big all of that stuff was gonna become. And I feel like, with Spider-Man becoming, I mean, he was already a popular character as is, but it's just like, it just felt like it was the right time to bring in all those Spider-Men. And they did an awesome job, from the animation. It won awards, the music, like Trav said, it was fire. And I can't wait until the sequel comes out for that. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I just feel like, imagine if it would have came out back then. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I want to say back then, we had Dragon Ball Evolution was out.
I forgot about the movie.
X-Men Origins Wolverine. Like, imagine if this Spider-Man movie came out and it was a stinker. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
It could have ruined Miles. Like, I even remember when Miles at first came out, even though like it was a small portion of people, like there were people pissed off that it's just like, well, why did they kill off Peter Parker? Like, why are they going with this? Because Marvel was going in a new direction with new characters. Because we also got Miss Marvel, and like she's about to have her show on Disney Plus, and those Disney Plus shows, like Trav says, they're fire. Like they do an amazing job.
They won. WandaVision won several awards. You had MTV Movie Awards. You had Falcon got Best Hero, Anthony Mackie. So like,
I love that, like that little ending for Falcon and the Winter Soldier where they changed the title at the last. So I was like, that's what I want to see.
Well, and I really loved at the end of Endgame when he gave him the shield and he was like, how's it feel? And he was like, it feels like somebody else's. And he looked at him and he went, it's not. Like, that line always hits me in the field. And Banks knows how I feel about Falcon and Anthony Mackie just in general. Like, that is my man crush.
Just like mine is Jensen Ackles.
Yeah, yours is Jensen Ackles. Mine is Anthony Mackie, man. I will watch anything that Anthony Mackie is in just because it's Anthony Mackie.
So I have to ask you then, have you seen Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
Oh, of course.
I love that. Oh,
Such a good movie.
Hold on. Let her finish real quick. Let her finish. And
then I got to say something.
Yes.
So I recently rewatched that movie after watching.
So did I.
After it's on
watching HBO Max now.
I watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I'm just like, okay, I gotta have more Mackie. I gotta have more. It's like, all right. So I watched, it's like I watched Civil War, and I watched Winter Soldier, and I'm just like, something feels weird. Something feels weird about this. So then I went back and I watched Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and I'm just like, this is Civil War Captain America. It's dude trains from childhood to beat these enemies, becomes super buff and super amazing and all these things, fights for all these things that are right, and like knows when to pick up the weapon and knows when to put it down and try and, you know, mediate the conversation. And then who's standing next to him? It's like, that's Anthony Mackie.
The sidekick. He's playing the sidekick once again. That's right.
And it's just like, it feels like kind of full circle because that movie came out way before he became the Falcon in MCU, and it's just like, good. I'm glad he's finally got the hero mantle that he rightfully deserves. Took too many movies, to be honest.
Now let me tell this amazing story
Go ahead.
I got it in the chamber.
I don't even think you've ever told this story on the podcast.
You do not know this story. Ooh. Oh my God, I did tell you this story? Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think you've ever told it on the podcast.
I've never told this story on the podcast because why would I tell this story? And this is just the right time.
In case you just brought it up.
And Banks knows my friend Jay. Mm-hmm. And we all used to work together. And 2012, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter comes out. Now, when I hear about this movie, I'm like, this is so dumb. And then I watch this movie and I'm like, this is so amazing. This
movie was a good movie.
Fantastic. It was a great movie. But it just sounds so stupid. If somebody was like, let's take Abraham Lincoln, but the reality is he's actually hunting vampires. It sounds so stupid, but it was executed way better than it ever should have been. So we're talking about it at work and I'm trying to get everybody on this movie. I'm like, I know it sounds dumb, but you got to see it. This man, Jay, is sitting on the bench and the words that come out of this man's mouth is, Abraham Lincoln didn't really hunt vampires, did he? We look dead silence amongst everybody. And I looked over at him and I go, Jay, are you serious right now? And he knew, like as soon as it came out of his mouth, he knew what he said, but he couldn't bring it back. It had already been said. And I could just see the look in his face, like, why did I just say that?
I'm so dumb moment.
It is almost 10 years later and we still rag this man.
It was funny.
Abraham Lincoln didn't really kill vampires, did he? No, Jay. Just in case anybody's wondering, no, Abraham Lincoln did not really kill vampires.
Well, the author for that, by the way, the author for Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter made another book, which also got turned into a movie, which was Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Yeah, okay.
Which is also a really fun movie.
I was about to say it's a really good movie. I've never seen that
movie. Is it good?
It's so good.
Okay.
It's very fun.
I'm still waiting for them to make this because he has a sequel to the book, The Last American Vampire, and I'm waiting for that movie, to be honest with you. I need this. I doubt it's coming out, but you know, it is what it is.
I wanted to tell a dumb story too, and this goes back to Vegas. I can't remember which casino it was, but they have the Titanic attraction attached onto the casino. Okay, I don't know. Do you know which casino it is?
I've seen it. Gosh, maybe it might be the Monte Carlo, or it might be the Bellagio. Honestly,
it's at the Luxor.
It's at the Luxor.
Okay, thanks, Trav.
I'm on it.
So
why would they have the Titanic attraction at the Luxor?
They got a whole exhibit.
What? Vegas, please. Come on.
But no, it's so me and my brother, we had went inside of the Titanic shop, and you know, of course, I'm just looking around and whatnot, and like there's this woman at the cash register, and she asked the cashier, she's like, so did Jack really survive in Titanic? and it's like I'm
like you happen to walk into this conversation.
No. I'm looking at the souvenirs, and she asked the cashier this, and like I looked up, I was like, did she really just ask that? And the cashier, she was like, ma'am, it was a movie. And she was like,
ma'am, it was a movie.
She was like, oh, I thought, because I wanted to know if you guys had any Jack souvenirs here. I'm just like, come on, man. Like,
but Mike, that movie, that's one of my top movies of all time.
Really? Top movies of all time?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for some drama. So what's it called? Especially some love drama. So like, I may not look like it, but if you look at my bookshelf, you think it's the bookshelf of a 13-year-old girl.
He does have a lot of those books.
The reality is, I'm a 30-year-old man. Okay, so and I love some Titanic.
So you love Titanic. You love that little bit of drama to it. Do you know anything about the Carpathia?
No.
The Carpathia is the ship that actually answered the call to help the Titanic. It was a small little ship that had no business answering this call. There were other ships that were closer that didn't answer the call. This tiny ship, the captain rolled out of bed, said, "We're going," pushed the ship far beyond its limits, which it should have taken about 4.5 hours to get there, made it there in just about 3.5 hours. So it shaved about an hour off of that, going at a beyond max speed. Everybody on board the Carpathia came in to help. That means crew and guests. And they started pulling people out of the water, and they saved several thousand people.
We need that movie.
Yeah, I never knew about it.
Listen, look it up. The Carpathia is the story about the Carpathia is fantastic, and I want that movie. Like, turn that into a movie because this tiny ship should have never actually. They made it there, and they saved. Who knows how many people could have actually been, saved if all the ships that were in the area showed up.
So, are you saying that they actually sent out a distress call saying that we're sinking, and there's actually people who said,
Well, the thing is, like, well, can we make it there in time? Is it really worth it to?
Why wouldn't you try?
That's crazy.
That really hurts. That really hurts to hear that there wasn't even an attempt.
And that's when I'm telling you, it's like the Carpathia, this little ship, this underdog,
the little boat that could,
got there, saved people, and it's just like they it's the middle of the night. They're dodging icebergs. They could have potentially sunk themselves, and they made it. Not only did they make it, but they saved people. Countless lives were saved. The story about the Carpathia is
except for Jack. Jack passed away.
Rest in peace, Jack.
Well, I will say that one of my favorite moments of Infinity War is when Thanos shows up at the old lady's house, and he says, "I'll be taking that from you," and then it goes right into the Infinity Gauntlet. I don't know what gem she had. Was it the life gem? I don't know. But anyway, to reel that back in, Kaden, I wanted to ask,
how did we get here?
We snowballed. We
really snowballed.
I remember at one point
we were talking
discussed
about
Sonic.
We were talking about Robin Hood. It's because Kaden, she turned the podcast into Leveling Up with Kdin Jenzen, and she started asking us questions.
And company.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to reel it back, and I wanted to ask, like, what were some of your favorite animes? Like, we already know Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop.
That's the top 5 for me too.
What were some of your favorite animes growing up?
Some of my favorite anime growing up. Well, the Pokemon anime that's still going on. I love it to this day.
Thank you.
I love it to this day.
Thank you. Thanks, be hating.
Listen, if you haven't seen Pokemon Journeys, it's amazing.
Hey, let's talk about that theme song and how much that's a bop.
That's an amazing.
Yeah.
Like, Pokemon music is so good. Like
always
across the board, it's always good. Mostly like there was a lot of like voice talent in the OG Pokemon stuff that I really loved. Sailor Moon, of course. I mean, everybody. I'm gonna say this, and it is a blanket statement. Everybody sees the magical girl transformation and goes, "Yeah, I kind of want to do that at least once."
Sailor Moon used to be in my top 5 until Trav and D bullied me.
Not me.
What?
Not me.
No,
not
way.
me.
Yeah, Trav did.
No, I did not.
The redub?
Did.
Have you seen the redub of it?
Yes.
I've seen.
We've talked about that.
I haven't finished it.
So good. The cast is amazing. Let's see. Dragon Ball Z, obviously.
Of course.
I loved, Zoids was a big one for me.
Thank
I loved Zoids.
People slept on Zoids.
Absolutely.
They did. The thing is like, I don't know why, it's like Gundam was super popular at the time, even in the States, and Zoids came out right at the right time. And it's just like, come on. It's like, we have a big giant robot people. What's not to like about big giant robot animals? In that same vein, G Gundam was
Gundam's a good one. I love G Gundam. That burning thing. Whew. I remember I used to.
This hand of mine is glowing red. It's telling me to defeat you. Just so. Come on, give me that. I love it.
I used to get in trouble because I would do the burning finger to my little brother all the time. And it's like I would say Domon's lines, and then like I would go in say burning. Well, at first, remember it was shining finger.
Shining finger first, then burning finger.
Then it became burning finger. And it's like I would grab my brother's head and I would squeeze it until he started crying.
Oh no!
You took it too far, and that's why Zuckerberg banned you. Take it too far.
I did take it too far, but it was fun. I mean, because that's what he was doing on the show. Like he would grab the head and he would destroy it. I couldn't help it.
Hey, that's what she said.
Hey, now, Kaden, I want to ask you this because like you're naming all of these classic shows, and you know, if D was still alive, he would ask you. He would.
I'm not supposed to laugh when you say that, but I didn't expect it.
But when he was still alive, he would have asked you this question: were you a fan of Ronin Warriors?
Ronin Warriors was possibly one of the Knights of the Zodiac is so slept on. Plain and simple. So slept on. Ronin Warriors and Knights of the Zodiac were just like, this is like full anime Super Sentai. Like this is Kamen Rider but anime.
Yep.
And it was so good. And like I'm happy that like Knights of the Zodiac like has come back and you got a Netflix series fairly recently. So it's like, where's my Ronin Warriors reboot? Where's my Ronin Warriors reboot? And that's what I wanted. I know it's like a lot to ask for, you know, in the day and age where like everything's got an anime. And like anime's honestly, if you ask me, anime's better than it ever has been.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There is something for everyone. If you don't like shonen, don't worry. There's some shoujo for you. You don't like that. There's some mystery murder stuff. I mentioned Kimono Jihen earlier, which is getting a dub on Funimation. And that is such a like twisted psychological thriller with the dub cast is amazing. I can't wait to actually hear them go for it. But I watched the entire original Japanese version, and it's just like, it's so like different than a lot of things that I've seen. But then you have things like, you know, I've been killing slimes for 300 years.
Right,
I maxed out my level, and I'm just like, yeah, give me that fluffy nonsense, that isekai stuff. I'm all about it. Like, there's so much variety now versus like when we grew up, where it's like,
absolutely.
You know, you have Cardcaptor Sakura, you have, you know, it's like you might have had like Naruto or Digimon.
I tried getting my girls on Cardcaptor and Slayers, and they were just like that.
Oh, Slayers is so good.
Yeah, they looked at me like that. This shit look old. It's like, just because it is.
I mean, the thing is like that. I mean, fair. All the more reason to like, let's give it another go.
Yeah,
try it again.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. It's crazy, and I
just
love
like Yashahime.
It's true.
Just
like Yashahime.
I love that you do know what Ronin Warriors is, because like we've had guests up here before, and it's like nobody knew about it, and it's crazy because Ronin Warriors, it was a fun series. Like I've recently just finished watching it again, and I haven't watched it ever since it ended on Toonami back in the 90s, but it's on Amazon Prime, and the quality, it looks like shit. It looks poor. but it's
they did
fun.
Nothing.
It's fun just watching this, and then also on Amazon, because I don't know if you know about this, but they did come out with OVAs for Ronin Warriors.
Yes, they did.
And my thing is like, if you have these OVAs, like, why did they never put them on Toonami back in the day? And these OVAs are amazing because it's like they take place like right after the main story, and they're OVAs. So it doesn't make any sense, but like the quality on those look amazing. And I agree that, you know, you have shows like Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon.
I mean,
like
if you want some,
just mentioned Yashahime, like you have all of these older shows, you know, being remade, like how you said, Kaden, with the Saint Seiya stuff, Knights of the Zodiac, remade. Like, why has Ronin Warriors still been kept in the dark? Like, why was there never, like, with games like Dynasty Warriors? Like, can you imagine a Ronin Warriors Dynasty Warriors game?
Yeah, that would have been fire. That would have been fire.
It's just, it just boggles me that, you know, like, I mean, even a Dragon Ball Z Dynasty Warriors game, that you could have did that too, but it's
if you want some deep cuts though, like Monster Rancher, throw that one out there.
Yeah,
Read or
Die.
Those games on PlayStation.
Oh, you talking about the games? Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just bringing them up too. Though.
There was Read or Die, which was an OVA.
Read or Die.
That got spun off into Read or Dream, which was Read or Die, 3 episodes, possibly some of the coolest stuff ever.
Like Read or Die was great.
I would just a door to jump back into, you know, the world around Read or Die, like seeing Yomiko Reedman again and like seeing what they, you know, it's like where things went from the end of the OVA and like from the rest of the characters' perspective, because it's so like they're doing different things even back then. Like Yomiko Reedman, the main character, is a paper user, which means that she controls, like, you know how the Avatar, Aang, you know, can control fire, air, water, earth. She controls paper the exact same way. She could turn like money into a sword. And it's just like, that's awesome. I love this. Here, let's see, Fooly Cooly, which was got 2 new series fairly recently. So if we're bringing things back, then let's bring some stuff back.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. It was another, I mean, it's not, they didn't bring it back, but Blue Gender. Like I always felt like that was
gosh, Blue Gender is so good.
Yes. Yeah. Blue Gender and Kakaider. Those are like shows that came, because like Adult Swim, like they were bringing like these anime gems, and I feel like nobody talks about it, where they gave these shows a chance, and like they were fun. Like
Cyborg 009.
Oh yeah, we talked about that before too.
Yeah, if you like Cyborg 009, you would like Kakaider. It's pretty much like the same thing. It's more. Well, I mean, Cyborg 009 was more adult themed as well, but I felt like Kakaider was more adult themed. I mean, it was on Adult Swim, you know.
Yep.
But they used to have some serious cuts. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this anime movie called Biohunter.
Yeah.
I never
Biohunter is so good. But if you were to like get it now, if you were able to find it somewhere, somehow, some way on the internets, on the interwebs, the quality is just so bad. It literally looks like they ripped it off the VHS that it came on. But I got a real deep cut.
Go for it.
That came on Fox, and it's a French-American cartoon, and it also
wait.
Know,
oh, let me think if I is it Cyber 9?
No. But this also had toys.
Okay.
And it's called Dragonflies, and I don't know if anybody remembers.
I remember that show. Wasn't that the toys where it's just like they would spin
pull the
around
thing and it spins up in the air?
Yeah, I remember that
just
show.
like Sky Dancers.
I was about to say my sister had the fairies.
Yeah, because it was a girl version too.
Right.
Sky Dancers
and I had the Dragonflies. But they had a show. Show was heat.
Yeah.
Show was heat.
Yeah.
It was like Power Ranger dudes that could fly. Like they were dragonfly armor, and it was sick.
Now, do you guys remember the Siegfried and Roy show?
Oh yeah,
where it was
I do.
Yeah, like that was. And what's crazy is like all of these shows. I remember they would come on like Sunday morning, like Dragon Ball. Like that's how I found out about Dragon Ball when I was a kid, because they all used to come on together. And you know, back then we didn't know what anime was. Like we just saw it on TV and
it's just a cartoon.
And I remember when Dragon Ball Z came out, and I was just like, man, like. This guy, he looks very similar to the guy on Dragon Ball. Like, are they the same people? And then when they had Piccolo up there, I was just like, I never saw Piccolo on Dragon Ball, because when we first got it over here in the States, it ended like right when Goku went to Master Roshi's house and he was gonna start training with him, and that was it. So we never saw Krillin, we never saw any of these people. So I was just like, well, why didn't we ever get any of that? Because it wasn't as popular back then.
Yep.
The Trav?
I got no more cuts.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring that one that I talked about, Cyber 9, which is a show that, if given the chance, if given the opportunity to bring one show back and like do it right and do it proper, I would first of all, I'd go with the studio that just finished up with Castlevania for Netflix, and I would reboot Cyber 9, which is this like twisted kind of thing where this evil scientist is trying to make these bioweapons, and he makes this one character named Cyber 9, and she is what was it? Wait, it's not Cyber 9. Come on. Oh, Cyber 9 was the other show. Oh, come on.
Cyborg 009, right?
No, not Cyborg 009. There was a show called Cyber 9, but
I guess our good pal Jason Marsden voiced the main character on Cyber 9.
Yeah. Jason Marsden did do that. Oh gosh.
Good old Max Goof.
Good old Max Goof. That's right.
We had the opportunity to have him up here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Go look for that episode because he tried to get Trav to sing with him, and Trav was scared.
I froze up. I was scared.
You really froze up?
Yeah, because for me, a Goofy movie is the pinnacle of Disney animation.
Oh, yeah, you're not wrong.
And that soundtrack is just heat.
But
Power Nine's, songs aside, just the regular songs, they're all fire. So it's like, I don't know. It's my idol right here.
I mean, that's true.
I know what to do.
Cyber 6. Come on. There's so many. Okay. So
I remember Cyber 6.
Okay. Cyber 6. She was created and engineered by this evil scientist. She's very like Carmen Sandiego-esque, but 90s Carmen Sandiego. Big hat, black outfit. Her brother, who is also a biological weapon created by this dude, is a talking panther.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And to like go undercover to stop the dude who created them from like causing chaos in the world, she goes undercover as a high school teacher, but they would have absolutely noticed her presenting female, so she presents male as the teacher. And there's this dude character who's this other teacher that she's like low-key interested in, and they have these like really like crush moments where they're having these conversations, and she's presenting male. So it's like, there's all these like very like, gender feels.
Right.
Like, and there's also this like whole like very like, I mean, this was in the 90s. It was like having two male characters, like one male presenting and one action. It was like one cis male character having this pseudo romantic relationship was so unheard of. Like, it was absolutely unheard of. But like, she's like, I don't know, like the best way I could say it is like, this character feels gender fluid.
Yeah,
like,
right.
She presents, it's like she uses he pronouns, she uses she pronouns. It's just like, this character is so. It's the right time to reboot this. Is all I'm saying. Is like, there are so many people who would love to see a character that's gender fluid, non-binary, being a hero, presenting how they want to be in situations that they want to present in, and have a romantic relationship and have it not be a big deal. Bringing that show back, and then like giving the cool fight scenes and all that stuff, and all the like creature of the week stuff to the folks who did Castlevania. Give me that good stuff. I want it. But I
feel like when I go back and watch Rocco, Joe Murray did a lot of that stuff, but it's like they're all animals, so it could be anything you want it to be. But
it's true.
There's all these underlying messages that you don't pick up on as a kid. Then you go back and watch it, and you're like, like Rocco working out as a sex phone operator and pretending to be a woman.
Oh baby.
and Filbert, dealing with all his anxiety and all this stuff. There's like so many like real messages hidden behind all that stuff that you just don't pick up on.
Filbert the turtle taught me about OCD.
Right. Yeah.
Like it taught me like understanding what that is. It's like, turn the page, wash your hands. Turn the page, wash your hands.
Turn your page, wash your hands. Turn the page.
And he had so much like again, like you said, looking back on it, it's like teaching me about like anxiety and dealing with all those things, and Heifer being adopted.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that was huge. That was just like, there was so many. They didn't treat him any differently, despite him being like the herbivore. And then
I was about to say, him being a cow, then being a wolf, and it never occurred to him that he was adopted.
He had no clue. They treated him so much like family that it never came to any thought in his mind. And it's like, that's amazing. It's like, I can't believe that was some of the stuff that I grew up with, because you take that alongside a lot of the other shows that you grow up with. It's like a Road Rovers, which was just like, there's a bunch of anthropomorphic dogs going around and saving. It's like, it's, this is a vehicle to sell toys, but Rocco wasn't that. And like Doug wasn't that.
Doug.
Like, it was so.
Hey Arnold too.
Hey Arnold.
Those Hey Arnold storylines is like, if
they were serious.
I'm sure for people that grew up in New York, these are serious situations that they encountered as kids all the time. They would change it up so it wasn't actual drugs in your face or anything like that, so they could present it. But now you go back and look at what it was a metaphor for, and you're just like, wow.
They had Hey Arnold probably had one of the best like puberty episodes, like of any like thing. Gerald like had his normal voice at the beginning of the episode, and then halfway through, like stopped talking. It got deeper, and he had that little squeak to it. He was supposed to be singing the high notes, and he lost that. Right. And then he had this conversation with the mailman character. He's just like, I used to have a high voice just like you used to. And now I have this low voice, but now I can do other things with this voice that I couldn't do before. Don't look at it as something that's, it's like negative. Change is good. Change is great.
And something
take it and own it. And at the end of it, he's like singing, it's like, what was it?
He breaks out.
Yep. He just like, this Harold was great. Harold was great.
See, I just feel like there's a lot of cartoons that come out nowadays where
just goofy to be goofy.
It's like, it's just straight goofy. It's like they don't have those life teaching moments, but there is,
and I enjoy them though.
There is one cartoon that stands out to me where it's a cartoon for everyone.
I know what you're about to bring up,
and it's Steven Universe.
Oh, that's not what I expected.
Universe.
You know what did you think I was gonna say?
Craig of the Creek.
Craig of the Creek is a good one too.
I thought you were gonna talk about Craig of the Creek because it's got some messages, dude.
It's fantastic. Steven Universe is fantastic.
Yeah.
I'd recommend Infinity Train as well.
You know what's? Oh, absolutely. I
need to watch Infinity Train. We actually had one of the writers from Infinity Train up here.
One of my favorite new animated series, like within the last recent years. Infinity Train. By the end of the first season, I was sobbing. I was openly just crying. It was so heavy.
Well, I had been waiting on
it.
Remember when they showed that pilot like a year or two before on Cartoon Network? So I'd been waiting for this show, and I got to watch it every week with the girls. And from every episode, we were like hooked. And since we're bringing up hidden gems that are out now, Disney XD got some. If you haven't seen Amphibia,
yeah, I was about to bring up Amphibia. Oh
good, and Big City Greens. Big City Greens has a lot of
great
undertone messages behind.
They also like hidden stuff. They're also like our generation folks. They talk about like they included some like Team Rocket-esque characters. The Japanese version of that episode of Big City Greens, that had those Team Rocket like lookalikes, they actually got the Japanese voice of Meowth to voice that particular character in. It was so great. I gotta throw in a couple more. I mean, if we're talking Infinity Train, we're talking Amphibia. I gotta throw out Owl House, which I've
never seen that.
I never heard of that one.
Owl House is oh my gosh, it takes this character Luz, and she's about to go on a summer vacation, like she's going to camp, but the day she's supposed to go and do that, this door appears inside this like abandoned house.
I love stuff like that. Yeah, they just go to another world.
She got sucked into another world, and she has this mentor who is this kind of like, not necessarily down and out, but like she's a little older. She's like 50s, kind of a witch character. And everybody who are the lower tier folks, they love her. But the upper echelon folks, they don't necessarily agree with her, how she does things, because she's on the outs. She doesn't follow the rules of society to, it's like, crossing all those T's, dotting all those I's, doing everything exactly the way that they should. And Luz wants to learn magic, but she's a human, so she has to find ways to learn magic creatively, differently. So she ends up going to this like school and learning how to be herself through this. It's going to end with a third season. Season 2 is about to start in June, and season 3 is going to be a set of, I think it's like 4 or 5, maybe a little bit less than that, 44-minute specials that is going to like finalize this story.
Nice.
But it's just Gravity Falls too. Like
Gravity Falls.
I never got into Gravity Falls, but I've heard so much good stuff about it.
It's so good. So good.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be, but might be worth looking up, Alex Hirsch is married to the creator of Owl House. There's a lot of themes there. Like there's like triangles with eyes in them, and I'm just like, that's Bill Cipher. That's Bill Cipher right there. All right. I know what you're doing. You're alluding to something like worlds are connected and things may not be quite what they seem, but
oh yeah. the creator voices a character in Owl House.
Yep.
Okay.
And Alex Hirsch is is also voicing on that as well. That show is so good. Again, breakout hit for me. Loving that. Gosh, I'm trying to like think of like some stuff that's like newer and maybe some Odd Taxi just started airing this season.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
It's a series that follows a taxi driver, and it's all these like. Do you remember the movie Crash from like
You know what's crazy? You're not talking about the movie with Ludacris, right? You're talking about
that's what I was thinking about.
You're talking about the one where they get off by getting in the crazy speed wrecks, right?
It's no. That's it's the movie where everything centers around the story about this one car crash, and then everybody's stories splinter out from there.
Yeah, that's the one.
The movie with Terrence Howard.
Yep.
Yeah, that movie. That was a really good movie.
There's another one called Crash, though.
Really?
It came out in 1996, and it's pretty much they get into like these car crashes, and it gets them off, and they end up having relations, in the car as they get in the car crash. Yeah, it's a crazy.
Which channel did this come on?
HBO back in the day. So I saw when I was a
that
kid
sounds about right.
That's
cans. But Odd Taxi is a lot like not that crash, but the other crash, where it's telling a bunch of different stories in a fragmented way that it's all coming together with one focal plot.
I love stuff like that.
Now is this dubbed?
It's so good.
Here?
It's not dubbed yet.
Okay.
I'm saying it is the sleeper hit of the season. It is so good. And I can't wait to see, it's like if it gets picked up, if it gets dubbed, because not everything does, of course, but I just feel like this is something that is such a unique story and hasn't been done too much, especially in animation and especially in anime, that I'd love to have people more watch it more, because like the main character is not your usual main character. He is in his early 40s. He's overweight.
Yeah,
and
he's a walrus.
Yeah, he's a walrus.
He's an overweight walrus. That is amazing.
He's got a sleeping disorder. He can't sleep. So like there's like so many different things that are in there that they deal with being connected to somebody who you don't necessarily want to be connected to, but now they've got their hooks in you and trying to break free from that. And they talk about dirty cops, and this is like, if you want it, it's like your brother is a bad cop. He's a bad cop, but you're just giving him a pass because he's your brother. So trust me that he's bad and do something right. It's like, you got into this to do something good. So do something good. It's like, it deals with some really heavy themes. And I feel like I'm the only person talking about it. And I'm just like, where is it? What is everybody watching? It's like, I know everybody's watching like Jujutsu Kaisen and Attack on Titan.
I am watching Jujutsu Kaisen. And then JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I just recently got into that. I saw Kira Buckland tweeting about the announcement of the next season.
Right.
And she was just so like enraptured by this announcement. It was so overwhelmingly powerful for her to have that announcement. I'm just like, there's something I'm missing. I haven't seen JoJo yet. I'm going to start watching. And I started watching right after that. And I'm just like, okay, I get it. I get why so many people like JoJo.
You hear that, Trav? You hear that?
I mean, they probably weren't told to watch part 1 and part 2.
No, you have to start with part 1.
You got to start with part 1. No, you got to start at the beginning.
Kaden.
You can't play Mass Effect 2 without playing Mass Effect 1. As much as you don't wanna.
Kaden, like Trav and D, they're just like, part 1 is so boring. It's not bad. It's good.
It is.
Like Dio,
it's
like
different.
killing Danny.
It's different.
And
to me, it's boring. Right?
Okay.
But it gets better. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like of course, part 1 and part 2, like they're set like way back.
I get you, but sometimes I can't stay in the relationship if it's so bad right now in hopes that it gets better down the road. We got to break up, you know what I mean? Because I'm unhappy.
Well, see, that's the reason why like a lot of people like they skip part 1 and part 2. Then they can
skip, but I can't. I can't skip.
I can't
They just go no because you're my friend, you're my co-host, so I'm going to tell you that you need to start from the beginning. I'm not like if it was just some random person, I'd be like, yeah, just start with part 3. But
okay,
if we're doing a review,
and you've admitted we're friends live here on camera and audio is recorded.
If Kaden, if you have a podcast and you tell your co-host, "Hey, we're reviewing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure," that means that you have to start from the beginning and then work your way up. And if you don't want to start from the beginning, at least watch a review on like part 1.
That's what I did.
Or read the manga. You know what I'm saying? But don't sit here and be like, "Oh, it's boring." It's just like we got to review it. We're doing a review on it. You can't just say, "I got bored with it."
That's the point.
No.
You also gave us like 2 weeks to watch. This man wanted a podcast on the whole entire series and 1 episode, and gave me and D like 2 weeks.
I could do
2
it.
watch to watch it.
I'm going to say this.
Is enough time.
I'm going to say this. About 6 months ago, after watching everybody start watching it or revisit it in quarantine, I started watching One Piece for the first time.
Thank you. Such a good show. One of my
6 months. 6 months. I'm at 460 episodes in. You can watch all of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
If I can get past Alabasta in 2 weeks, you can get past JoJo in 2 weeks.
Kaden, it's nothing but excuses. That's all it is. It's nothing but because I just finished watching, or not finished because it's been a year now, but Shippuden. Like I started it last year.
You skipped filler though.
Oh yeah, I did skip the filler.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this. You can skip filler because it's not plot relevant.
Thank you.
But you can't skip part 1 and 2 of JoJo because they talk about that stuff later.
Yeah, everything. Like there is no filler in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because the thing is that this is an anime series that has come out after all of the manga has already come out. So it's like there's no way for them to put filler in it. But for like Naruto, like I'm thankful that I didn't watch Naruto when it was live on TV because all of that filler stuff that y'all had to sit through and watch, like that stuff was horrible. Like when I found out, I was just like, I did watch some of the filler for Shippuden. And then I said to myself, I was just like, none of this stuff matters. Like, why am I watching it? And some of it was bad. So I just said, yeah, I'm done with it. I'm just watching the series. I'm just watching.
All of what I watched from JoJo was bad.
No, how dare you?
You tripping.
Hey.
How dare you?
Hey,
this dude.
Your boy walking.
Kaden,
I ain't tripping.
Kaden,
all over you right now.
when part 6 got announced, this dude Trav tried to go on Twitter and he tried to be like
I was trolling you.
He tried to be like Stoop Kid and talk trash about JoJo. I'm just like, come on, Trav. And then he was just like he was trolling me. I didn't care what he was saying. My only thing is that we have this podcast, we have this YouTube. It's just like this dude is going on the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks podcast page and is talking crap about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm just like, bro,
that's underhanded.
I don't want this to reflect us in a bad light.
Okay.
But Trav, if we would have got like so much hate, nuclear heat for your tweets, what would you have said? I'm sorry, I was only having fun with it.
Well, first of all, from the very get-go, I made these thoughts. These thoughts are Trav and do not reflect on Leveling Out with Benjamin Banks podcast. He leaves out these little details. He always does this. He leaves out the little details that change the story. So I already let it be known, just like when you watch the behind the scenes footage on the DVD extras, these opinions are the result of the actors themselves and do not reflect on Disney as a corporation.
I had to put a tweet up saying that
you didn't have to because
this is Benjamin Banks and like these are Trav's opinions and they do not reflect us at all.
Okay, and what was already said by me, so no, you didn't have to do that.
But you didn't say that on Twitter.
Yes, I did say this on
bro.
Twitter.
Please,
I will send you
make me go and find it as screenshots because I will send.
What do you mean find it? We barely tweet. It's gonna take you 2 minutes.
I'm like that's just like Kaden, that's just like if some news for One Piece came out and then I went online and just started trashing One Piece. Like, it's just like, why? Why would I do that? Like what type of reaction were you trying to get, Trav?
All you're gonna do.
This reaction from you right here. This is what I was trying to get, and it worked. Because it's been 2 months and you ain't shut the hell up about it.
I'm just saying. Look, man.
Listen.
If people would have came after
mission
us.
accomplished.
I'm sorry, Trav. I gotta disagree. If you're gonna go on social media and you're gonna start talking shit about something, I don't know. I don't get it. It's like, all right, I don't like it. Leave it at that. Not for me. Period. I'm not gonna go out and I'm not gonna troll people. I can't do it. It
was Jojo jokes. It wasn't me.
No, it wasn't no Jojo. Hey, he was the only one laughing, Kaden. I'm just like,
that's right.
I'm like, who finds this stuff funny? like he tried to sit here and say, I don't know, like how anime can try to make a Nazi a good guy, and I'm just like, I mean, like nobody.
Oh yeah, I did say that.
Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that.
Yeah, nobody who watches.
There's plenty of people that love this dude as a character.
Stroheim.
Type in Stroheim's name into the Twitter, and you know how we'll show you like hashtags and people talking about it.
Okay, well, Trav,
there's some love for him.
Well, okay, all right. Well, see, with you saying that, you could also say that there are a ton of people who love the Red Skull. I mean people love
people love Dio, and he's like one of the worst people. Dio. Period. He's awful. He's garbage, but it's like he's a cool villain. I like him.
Yeah, he's a cool villain.
Yeah,
people
but
love Frieza.
He's not real. Nazis are real.
But Stroheim isn't real.
Stroheim is a character in a show.
Thank you. I'm happy that. First off, I'm happy that I have backup. Two, I'm glad that D is dead, because if D was still here,
see, I don't talk about my friends like that.
If D was still alive,
I don't talk about my friends like that.
If D was still alive, see, Trav doesn't have backup now. Trav does not have backup, because D will be here protecting you right now. But hey, Kaden, we're gonna go and wrap this thing up. It's been fun, and I love that.
Yeah, I'm sorry we didn't talk about your career at all.
We did right at the beginning.
Yeah, and then we just started snowballing.
Look. I'll do this. I'll make you feel better. Go watch RWBY on Rooster Teeth right now, please. Right. It's a fantastic show. I love being a part of it. The Titan's Bride is coming out soon. I play Bados, the Wolf Man there. The Kickstarter for Hero.EXE should be up fairly soon. Please check that out. Give me a follow on social media. It's just my name, Kdin Jenzen. And check out our One Piece podcast called Yayo Talk Show, where we're going through every arc and saga of One Piece. And I'm going in completely blind, which is so much fun.
And that's what I've been trying to do, and Banks don't want to do it. And
with what? With One Piece?
With One Piece.
I got to episode 70, and then we started doing more stuff for YouTube, and I didn't have time to watch One Piece.
He ain't got time, but I was supposed to have time for JoJo. Okay.
Well, JoJo's better than One Piece, man. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, no.
I don't know about that. I'd say
JoJo.
They tickle different parts of the brain. All right.
There's nowhere near the world building in JoJo that there is in One Piece.
Bro, it's all across time. One Piece doesn't have Dio. It's all across
these nuts.
One Piece does. One Piece. To be fair, One Piece doesn't have Dio. It does, however, have Luffy, one of the best shonen protagonists. Period. That dude is good people. Good people. People. Monkey D. Luffy. Love that guy.
Hey,
that's right.
Kaden, we appreciate.
I gotta ask one question.
One question. All right, go ahead.
All right. Are you reading the RWBY Justice League comic that just came out?
Of course I am. Okay. I love it. I love Faunus Batman. I love Faunus Batman, and I love Faunus Flash. He's a turtle Faunus.
There we go.
So cute. I love him so much. I don't.
Banks needs to get on it. Banks needs to get on it.
And that's
it's
what
very
she
fun.
said.
That's right.
Hey, yeah. With that being said, Kaden, thank you so much for joining us. You didn't already went ahead and said where everybody can find you at in social media land. Again, thank you for joining us on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Trav, let everybody know in social media land where they can find you at.
That's right. You can find me on the Instagrams at ZK Audio, or over on the Twitter at TRAVIOSZK. And where can they find? I know where they can't find you. Facebook. But where
well,
else?
I mean, they can find me on Facebook now because it's like me and Mr. Zuckerberg. We may not be as tight as we used to be. You can still find me. You can still find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. And then you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at KingBenji_Banks. And with that being said, thank you for watching and listening to our brand new episode. Thank you, Kaden, again for joining us up here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Thank you for having me. You are an amazing person and you are an amazing guest. So thank you. We would love to have you come back up here with us.
Absolutely.
In the future. Thank you. And with that being said, like I always say, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace. Thank you for watching a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure that you hit that like button and you subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content on our channel. Make sure you check out our podcast where we release new episodes every Tuesday and the video of that episode is uploaded on Friday. And you can find new episodes of our podcast on all podcast platforms. Make sure you follow all the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks social media accounts at Leveling Up Banks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, we have a Patreon. If you're feeling generous and would love to donate to us, it's at Leveling Up Banks. And huge shout out to our patrons. We really appreciate you and thank you for the support. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.